Hello, welcome everyone to this awesome series, our Dhurandhar series of, important concepts of polity, practice questions. Correct? Here we are with some awesome results. We have AIR 1, AIR 4, 3, 14, and 6. Some blockbuster success by Oliveboard. Our team here wishes them heartiest congratulations. Correct? Their hard work and their strategy helped in their preparation, and this results is the evidence. At Olive Board, our team is there to help you with everything you need. All the practice, revision, one shots, marathons, everything is available. Please join us and be a part of this journey. Okay, okay. Coming to the topic of today, we did fundamental rights, we did important article structure of the constitution. Now we'll be doing directive principles of state policy. Sir, what is directive principles of state policy? So till now you would have heard that fundamental rights has the highest position in the Indian constitution. That means nobody can take away your fundamental rights. But is it so? No, they can take away your fundamental rights. So, who is there to match up with fundamental rights? Who is there to give a challenge to fundamental rights? It is the DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. Directive principle means they are directive in nature. Let us have a look. The idea of directive principles has its origin in Spanish Constitution. Spanish Constitution. Sir, but we heard that it is Irish Constitution. Yes, obviously. From there, Irish Constitution has taken. Okay. Later incorporated into Irish and then into Indian. Correct? So DPSP was specifically derived from Article 45 of the Irish Constitution. So this article is Irish Constitution article. It is not Indian. Okay. In Indian Constitution, the directive principles of state policy lies in Part 4. That is Article 36 to Article 51. Correct? Not Part 4A. Part 3 is fundamental rights. Part 4 is DPSP. Part 4A is what? What is Part 4A? Homework. Let me know in the comment section. Okay. Please put it in the comment section. What is Part 4A of the Constitution? So, Article 37 of the Constitution explains the nature and application of these principles. What is the nature? How are they? What types they are? Are they enforceable? Are they not? All that things are in Article 37. These principles are designed to ensure social, economic justice to transform India into a welfare state. What is a welfare state? A welfare state is the one which helps its people, especially poor people, to raise up into the society by giving them public services. Okay, so what type of justices DPSPs deal with? Social and economic. Part 4 of the Constitution, please remember Article 36 to 51. Okay, let us go forward. Let us understand them in a deeper meaning. Oh, the great debate, fundamental right versus DPSP. Like in T20 World Cup or in any cricket match, it is India versus Pakistan, which is the most hottest rivalry, right? So in our constitution, this is one of the hottest rivalry. That is the fundamental rights and DPSPs. In contrast to fundamental rights, DPSPs have a very wide scope. Correct? They function at a broader policy-oriented level while safeguarding citizens' welfare. So DPSPs, they are dealing with policies, public policies. But fundamental rights deals with our rights, our claims to the government. DPSPs contain the ideals and goals of the state that state must consider. So these are some of the directive principles which the state will consider while making a new law or a new policy or a new strategy. Whenever they are bringing a new scheme or new policy, They should keep these things into their mind. Okay. These policies are positive or affirmative in nature, means they are enabling the government to make new policies. They are not restricting it. They are not negative. Correct? Whereas fundamental rights are negative or restrictive as they impose limitations. So many of the fundamental rights, they are imposing limitation on the state. That state cannot take away this thing. They state they cannot arrest without cause or something like that. Correct? Article 20, 21, right to life and liberty. State cannot impeach the privacy. Correct? So these are restrictive, but directive principles are positive and affirmative. They enable the government. They support the government. DPSP is super important from exam point of view. DPSPs are non-justiciable, means they cannot be enforced by court of law. They cannot be enforced by court of law. It is important to understand that DPSPs and fundamental rights complement each other. They are Jay and Viru of the constitution, we can say, right? Jay and Viru means, yes, there is competition among them, but they are complementing each other. Okay. Please remember the most important, DPSPs are not subordinate to fundamental rights. They walk hand in hand. They go together. The fundamental rights and the DPSPs. Jay and V. I hope we are clear till here. Now we have a basic idea of what is DPSP. Correct? They are nothing but directives to the state to make new policies. Correct? They are not subordinate to fundamental rights. Now, sir, what are the DPSPs or what are the types of DPSPs? Let us have a look. The directive principles are categorized on three types, correct? Based on their ideological background. First, socialist principles, Gandhian principles, liberal and intellectual principles. These are the three broad categories in which they are divided. Now you can ask me, sir, in the constitution, is it written like socialist principles, these, Gandhian, these? No. The constitution doesn't distinguish between these three specifically in the constitution. No. We have divided them based on ideological background for our convenience. It is not divided in the constitution. Okay. Let us start with socialist principles. What are these? The state should work towards promoting the welfare of the society by the people establishing a social order. Correct? Now, what it deals with, whenever socialist comes, it deals with social, economic, and political justice. It deals about reducing inequalities among people based on income, status, opportunities, facilities, jobs, public facilities. So basically, it is reducing inequality. The state should frame its policies in a way, see now what Article 39 says, in a way to ensure that all citizens have adequate means of livelihood, correct? There should be proper distribution of material resources, prevention of concentration of wealth, not wealth should not be concentrated in some people's hands, equal pay for equal work for both men and women, protection of health of strength of workers, and prevention of exploitation of children and youth. So you can see these are general principles, directives which are given to the government. Okay, we have to keep in mind Article 38, 39. Next, 41. The state should ensure right to work, education, and public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, illness, and disability. So, see, you can have a look here that how these principles are dealing with, right? Article 42, the state should provide for just and humane conditions along with maternity relief, correct? So, see, maternity relief is also mentioned, correct? We have to keep that in mind. How broadly they have thought, just give it a thought, how broadly they have thought about the DPSPs. Every point is covered, every particular point is covered. The state should strive to provide workers with a living wage. See, There is no minimum wage in the constitution. If you ask, sir, what is a minimum wage? No, it is a living wage and a decent standard of living. Can I sue the government in the court for not giving a living wage? No, because they are not justiciable. They are enabling DPSPs. Okay. The state should promote the participation of workers in the management of industries. Also, they should strive towards improving nutrition levels, raising the standard of living and enhancing public health. See, so these are the what? These are socialist principles. 30. If you see, these are 38, 39, 41, 42, 43, 43A, and 47. How will you remember? Plus 1, plus 2, plus 1, plus 1, plus 4. So remember 38, 39, then one jump 41, plus 1, plus 1, A, and plus 4. So these are the principles which are socialist in among directive principles of state policy. I hope we are clear with this. I hope now we have a better idea as to what are the directive principles based on socialist ideological background. Okay, let us go ahead and understand some Gandhian principles. Okay, super important from examination point of view. So first, what are Gandhian principles? They are based on the Gandhian ideology, what Gandhiji used to propagate and promote. Correct? See, if you see, you'll have an idea. The state should organize village panchayat and develop them as unit of self-government. Correct? Gram panchayat. So, Gandhian principles deals with gram panchayat, village panchayat. So, state should organize village panchayats. State should promote cottage industries. Remember Khadi? Yes. In rural areas on an individual or cooperative basis. The state should encourage the voluntary formation and democratic functioning of cooperative societies. So, see how much stress Gandhian principles are giving to rural areas, cooperative societies, and cottage industries. Correct? So, how will you remember this? Simple 40 plus 3, 43, and 43B. Always remember 43A is socialist principle, correct? And 43B is Gandhian. How beautiful, no? In the same article, just the clause is changing and the ideological background is changing. 43A is socialist, 43B is Gandhian. Okay, simple. Let us go ahead. 46. The state should promote educational and economic interests of weaker sections. So Gandhiji always used to talk about Harijans, right? Scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and other disadvantaged groups. So this Harijan concept, development of Harijan concept has been taken from ideological background of Gandhiji. Okay, so Article 46 deals with that. 47 says that the state should take steps to improve public health and prohibit the consumption of intoxicating drinks and harmful drugs. So see how much detailed they are. Finally, the state should prohibit the slaughter of cows, calves, and other milch animals and working towards improving their breeds. So these are some of the principles which are Gandhian in nature. So if you ask which are these, 40, 43, 43B, correct? Then we have 40, 43, 43B, 46, 47, 48. Easy to remember, simple, plus 3, plus 3, and then plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. 46, 47, 48. So do plus 3, then plus 3, then plus 1, plus 1. Easy to remember. How was the socialist ones? Plus 1, plus 2, plus 1, correct? Then plus 4. Last one was plus 4. Plus 1, plus 2, plus 1, plus 4. Okay? Always remember 43A is a socialist principle, 43B is a Gandhian principle. Gandhian principle is always like plus 3, plus 3, plus 1, plus 1. Okay? Let us go ahead and have a look how are the liberal intellectual principles are. Third category. Okay? First one deals with the Uniform Civil Code, the most hot topic these days, the most, you can say, breaking news going on. The state should endeavor to implement a Uniform Civil Code. Endeavor. The state cannot force, the DPSPs cannot force the state to implement Uniform Civil Code, correct? Sir, how to remember this 44 article number? Simple. Just pay attention. There is a person J and there is a child J and there is a child E. Okay. Their father is having 8 ice creams. Just remember like that. Or 8 toffees. Father is having 8 toffees. They are fighting for the toffees. So what father did? Father gave 4 to him. Father gave 4 to him. Equally distributed. This is the trick to remember. Equally distributed. 4, 4, 44. Uniformly distributed. So that is Uniform Civil Code. 8 toffees, 4 here, 4 here. Uniformly distributed. So Article 44, Uniform Civil Code. Now you will never forget this. I challenge you. Okay. Uniform Civil Code is Article 44 of the Constitution. Okay. 45 deals with early childhood care and education for children up to 6 years of age. Okay. The state should 48 deals with modernizing agriculture and animal husbandry using scientific methods. Correct? And Article 48A deals with it should work towards protecting and improving the environment and safeguarding forest and wildlife. See how long back we were thinking about forest and wildlife. Meanwhile, the world was not even, caring about it. So 44, 45, 48, 48A. Okay, please remember Uniform Civil Code, Article 44, super important, 100% it comes in exam. Okay, then comes 49, the state should protect monuments and places of historical and artistic importance. Okay, state should, for 50 deals with separation of judiciary and executive in public services. Now pay attention, this example I gave you, correct? J I gave you this example that father is having 8 toffees. He gave 4 to J and 4 to E. See how much he distributed? 50-50, right? Article 50 deals with separation of power. Now, one J was judiciary and E was executive. That's why I told you J and E. Correct? 4 4 he gave, that is Article 44. Then he has divided 50-50, right? 8 ka 50% 4. So 50-50 is Article 50, separation of power among J and E, judiciary and executive. You might be thinking, no, sir, why you gave J and E as the name here? Because of this. So just one example, and you can remember 2 articles: 44, Uniform Civil Code, and 50, separation of power. Okay. Article 51 deals with promotion of international peace and security by maintaining fair and honorable relations with other nations, respecting international law, and encouraging peaceful resolution of international disputes. So today is if India is a good friend of Russia, US, Israel, Iran, all the opposite parties, that is because we have this Article 51 guiding the government to make its policy. Correct? It is because of that. So we have to keep that in mind that why today we are pursuing this particular policy which we are pursuing. Okay, so the state should aim to promote international peace. So this peace also deals with, for any peace deal which we do, peace deal or mediation, if ever done mediation, these things come under Article 51 of the Constitution. Now, you might say, sir, what is Article 51A? What is Article 51A? Homework. Let me know. Part 4A goes with Article 51A. Let me know in the comment section. Okay. I hope we are clear till here. Now, what are the liberal intellectual principles? 44, 45, 44, 45, 48, 48A, 49, 50, 51. Plus 1, plus 3, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Okay. Please remember 48A is a liberal intellectual principle. Please remember 43A was a socialist principle. 43B was a Gandhian principle. Okay. 43A was a socialist principle. 43B was a Gandhian principle. Okay. Now, have our DPSPs ever been amended? Yes, there has been amendments to the DPSP time to time. The biggest amendment in the Indian Constitution till now is 42nd Amendment. Okay. It is such a big amendment that it is itself called a mini constitution. Mini constitution. This amendment is so huge. It almost amended every part of the constitution. Okay. It introduced new provisions in part 4. Now, what are those? 39A, 43A, and 48A. All the A's came from 42nd. What? Free legal aid to the poor. 43A, worker participation in industrial management. And 48A, protection and improvement of the environment. So if the question comes that, sir, what are the amendments from 42nd of the 42nd Amendment to the DPSPs, you will write 39A plus 4. How much? 43A plus 5. 48A. A, A, A. You should remember plus 4 and plus 5. Simple. Okay. Or if you want a different mnemonic, correct? So you can remember like that, like this. PWF. PWF. What is 42nd? PWF. Protection of environment, worker participation in industries, free legal aid. PWF. PWF. Okay. Please remember this is the 42nd. Now, then came 44th Constitutional Amendment. It added Clause 2 to Article 38, emphasizing reduction of inequalities not among individuals, but also among groups. So it is not that an individual is equal to an individual. No, a group of people should also be termed as equal to the other group of people. So it should be among groups, not just people. It also removed right to property from list to the fundamental. This super important, very, very, very important. What it did, 44th Amendment, it removed the right to property from the fundamental rights and it made it Article 300A, a legal right. Very highly important question, asked 100 number of times. Okay. Article 44, it made right to property as a legal right and no more a fundamental right. Article 300A. Then came one of the most important articles, that is 86th Constitutional Amendment Act. 86th Amendment Act added Article 21A. What is this? Right to education. Most important. It right 86th Amendment Act modified Article 45 and made elementary education as a fundamental right. So 86th Amendment Act is a very very nice one. Why? It made changes to all the most three important parts of the Constitution. Fundamental rights, DPSP, and fundamental duties. It is one of the most fewest art amendment. In my knowledge, maybe the only amendment, 86th Amendment is the only amendment which made a change in all the three together: fundamental right, DPSP, and fundamental duties. So please remember 44th Amendment Act, right to property as legal right, and 86th Amendment, right to education. Okay, simple. Now, let us come to the rivalry. Conflict between fundamental rights and DPSPs. There are some important cases, there are some landmark cases. For example, Champakam Rajan versus State of Madras. What Supreme Court told that in case of conflict among DPSP and fundamental rights will prevail. In Champakam Rajan case, DPSP must conform to fundamental rights. Means here FR was given priority to DPSP. Correct? Parliament has the power to amend fundamental rights. Okay. In Golaknath versus State of Punjab, the court ruled that fundamental rights cannot be amended by Parliament, even for implementing. They are sacrosanct. They are sacrosanct. They cannot be touched. What in Golaknath case? Again, FR was superior to DPSP. The judgment contradicted the earlier Shankari Prasad case. Okay, in Shankari Prasad, opposite was told. So in Golaknath case, it was told that fundamental rights are sacrosanct in nature. They cannot be amended by Parliament, even if we have to implement DPSP. Got it? But then things changed a bit. Then came the KB case, Keshav Nanda Bharti case of 1973, the most, you can say, historic case. Supreme Court held that Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution, any part, but it cannot alter the basic structure. There is a basic structure which everyone has to adhere to. They cannot change this basic structure. Now, if you ask, sir, what is this basic structure? Is it defined in the Constitution? No, not defined. By multiple cases, they have laid some important principles as the basic structure. This led to the removal of right to property as a fundamental right. Uh, Amendment number 44. Then came a case. So, see, here we can say that any part can be amended. KB case. So, basic structure doctrine. If the question comes, which case, in which case Supreme Court laid down the basic structure doctrine, it was the Keshav Nanda Bharti case. Okay. Minerva Mills versus Union of India, the court reaffirmed that Parliament cannot change the basic structure while amending the Constitution. So, FR and DPSP, they go hand in hand, they complement each other. They are no more fighting with each other. Okay. Sometimes FR will be given priority, sometimes DPSP will be given priority. Okay. Implementation of DPSP, we have land reforms, how the state implements these DPSPs. These include abolition of zamindari system, correct? Tenancy reforms such as fair and rent and security of tenure, imposition of ceilings on land holding. We have redistribution of surplus land and promotion of cooperative farming. Remember cooperatives? These are the ways how the government, how the state implements, correct? Then we have Panchayati Raj system. For that, we had 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, correct? Article 40, remember? Panchayati system. A three-tier Panchayati Raj system was given the constitutional status. Then we have cottage industries. Article 43. How? KVIC. This is the body setup, correct? Handicrafts, silk board, coir board, these has been set up to give life to cottage industries, part of DPSP. Then we have education, we already talked about it. 86th Amendment Act, remember? FR, DPSP, FD, all three made changes. Article 45 was amended, correct? What was it? Education for children aged 6 to 14 years became a fundamental right. Okay. 0 to 6 years, it became a DPSP. That state should take care of children from 6 to 0 to 6. 6 to 14 was in fundamental right and fundamental duty. That children from 6 to 14 years of age should be given education. So please remember this. Okay. Rural development programs like community development program, IRDP, midday meal, these were the ones which were enriching rural development. In health, we have National Rural Health Mission, correct? And other schemes to improve public health and welfare responsibilities. For environment, we had Environment Protection Act 1972, Forest Conservation Act 1980, Environment Protection Act 1986. So this is 1986 and Wildlife Protection Act is 1972. So this is how the government of India implements the DPSPs via other laws. Okay. Also, we have Archaeological Sites and Remains Act 1958. This is for archaeological conservation. Correct? This was all about directive principles of state policy. I hope you people loved the session. We discussed about all the DPSPs in detail. Please revise, please see the video again, do the homework. Please put in the comment section how did you like the video. We'll be coming up with a practice session on these articles and DPSPs. So stay tuned. We'll meet soon. Thank you.